Good evening. We call to order this regularly scheduled board meeting of the Vicksburg Warren School District Board of Trustees for July 20th, 2017, 5:30 p.m. First item will be our invocation, which this evening will be led by Mr. Chris Williams. Mr. Williams.
Good evening.
Good evening.
Father, we come to you tonight in the name of our Savior, your Son, Jesus Christ. And we thank you, Father, for the many blessings that you bestow upon us. We thank you, Father, for another beautiful day. We thank you, Lord, for the safety and the protection that you give us here in our nation, in our county, in our state. And Father, we want to thank you, Lord, especially for the men and women who serve us overseas and here at home in our armed forces, just as well as we'd like to thank you, Father, for the ones in law enforcement who protect us and ensure our safety here at home. Father, we thank you for the Vicksburg Warren School District, and we thank you for its impact upon our community. And Lord, we just thank you so much for the school board, the leaders of this district, the administrators, and the teachers and staff members who work so diligently to ensure the success of our students. And Father, we ask you, Lord, in the name of Jesus, as we embark upon another school year, that you will guide us and lead us, Father. And everything that we do will be according to your will. Lord, as we proceed in this meeting tonight, we ask, Father, that you will give us that you will give us wisdom, Lord, and guide us to make decisions that better affect your children. Father, we love you. We give you praise in the name of your Son. Amen.
Amen.
Thank you. Board members, the next item on the agenda will be our adoption of our agenda. Are there any additions or deletions to the agenda? If there are no additions or deletions to the agenda, do we have a motion to adopt the agenda presented?
Mr. Chairman, I move we adopt the agenda as printed. Second.
We have a motion and a proper second to adopt the agenda. All those in favor, not flavor, I'm hungry, as you can tell. Favor, please signify by saying aye. Aye. Those opposed, same sign. We have adopted the agenda. Next item on the agenda will be the approval of our board minutes from our June 29th.
Mr. Chairman, we call for additions or deletions to the minutes of June 29th. Additions or deletions from anybody on the board. Not hearing any additions or deletions to our minutes, I move that we approve them as printed.
I second the motion.
There's a motion and proper second to approve the minutes for the June 29, 2017 regular and public budget hearing meetings. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye. Aye. Those opposed, same sign. We have approved the minutes. Next item on the agenda will be our superintendent's report. Mr. Sheep.
Sure. One of the highlights of this month for me was to be able to travel to Hot Springs, Arkansas. And we had 3 board members that went to the Arkansas School Board Association there. We have all 3 of them here. Would any of y'all like to share anything about the event?
I was impressed, Mr. Superintendent, with the openness of the meeting. They discussed true-to-life experiences and passed them on to school board members that were in attendance. Very impressed.
Had a real good time. It's always good to go to other places and see what you're doing right. So we have a wonderful board, and we got to see that in some of the presentations because we did not fall into the characteristics of those districts that are not doing things that they shouldn't be doing. So anyway, that will conclude my report.
Thank you, sir. Next item on the agenda will be our financial report presented by Ms. Burke. Ms. Burke.
Good evening.
Good evening.
I want to start by saying that our bank statements have been reconciled as of June 30th. As I go through our financials, I would like to remind everyone that we're still in the process of closing our June 30th books. So a lot of things that we'll go through will still be tentative until we close the books for June officially. As it stands, we're currently holding a fund balance for 11/20 of $11.9 million. Again, we still have a lot of outstanding items that we need to process and go through close. Okay. If you look at our statement of receipts, we've received for 11/20, 99% of our revenue based on our budget projections. And for total revenue for the year, we've received 92% of our total budgeted revenue for the district. If you look at our statement of expenditures, compared to the 99% of revenue that we've received, we've only spent 96%, which shows that we're actually spending in line or less than what we're receiving in revenue, which says we're in a good position. Total district, we've only spent 93% of our expenditures. Again, we still have some things we need to close for the year. As we look at our ad valorem tax collections, year-to-date, we've collected 98.53% of our ad valorem. Looking at the chart, that shows that year-to-date, we've collected about $30.2 million compared to the $29.7 that we've collected last year. However, if you look at the percentage collected, we collected 98.5% at this point last year. Well, this year, last year we had collected 98.9. So we've collected more in dollars, but percentage-wise, because we asked for more, we got more, the percentage is higher from last year to this year. Okay. Moving on, when we get to our MAP statement, year-to-date 2017, we've collected $27.57 million from state as far as MAP versus 28.5 we received this time last year, year-to-date. Looking at the charts, you'll see that we've collected less this year than we collected last year, and that's due to the two state mandated cuts we had this year. Okay. Moving on to what I know the board likes to get to, the statement of cash flow. Currently, with estimated numbers that we have for June, we are projecting a $10.66 million end-of-year cash fund balance, and that is actually coming in about $700,000 lower than our budgeted fund balance, simply because, like I said, we had two state mandated cuts during the course of the year, and we've adjusted as much as we can. But even though we're coming in $700,000 lower than our budgeted projections, we're still in a very good position because our fund balance is still well over $10 million. Okay, that's it.
That being all, I move that the board accept our finance officer report without any added deletions.
Second, Sturgis.
We have a motion and a proper second to accept our financial report presented by Ms. Burke. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Those opposed, same sign. We accept the report. Thank you. Next item is our 2018 budget, Ms. Burke.
Okay. Coming before you today, I'm asking that the board approve our budget as proposed in front of them with a revenue projection, collective projection of $82.7 million total district, expenditures $82.5 million total district for expenditures, and which will give us total fund at the end of 2018, a fund balance or operating balance of $22.88 million. Now, as a part of that budget, I took you guys through individually as well as collectively one-on-one meetings about the different projects, as well as in our public hearing, we listed out projected projects we would like to have as a part of this budget for the 2018 year. We're asking that as you approve the budget, you also approve those projects as a part of this budget.
Ms. Burks, I'm a little bit confused, but I'm gonna try to ask my questions if I can, because we just received this one and I was
Yes,
working
sir.
on the.
And that's actually the
this-
next one. But what happened is, and I'll take you through it, the one you have on your desk I realized when I was printing this that the $1.3 million that was listed together for your homestead exemption, it was a calculation error. It should have been broken out. We only got 589 for homestead, but the 721. But the bottom line number that we're requesting has not changed. Nothing has changed as far as our total request. It's just that one number should have been broken out and it was not on your initial form.
Okay, so on the, I guess the third page
Yes,
and the fourth page.
yes, sir.
Okay. The,
So if you look at the resolution, the amount the district is requesting for request should match the bottom line on the request page. And this page is actually only included in your packet so that you can see our attempt to stay where you guys requested the millage stay. You know, you made it perfectly clear you do not want to raise taxes, and that's my attempt at trying to figure out where our request needs to be. Again, understand the district does not set millage. The district does not determine where our millage is. I'm just trying to make an attempt to make sure our request does not affect our millage.
down there where it says the 1 mil generates and you have the under operating, you have 30 million 78. Then over in our resolution, it has 30 million 470. So are we increasing, or does that figure mean anything?
That 30 mil that you're looking at, that's prior year.
Right, okay, so it's going up.
Yes.
Okay, so our
Yes,
request is going up.
The assessed values went down. So based on the fact that our assessed values went down, to get to, based on this millage here, and like I said, I've been working with the supervisors to make sure that the number is solid and that we're on the same page with the numbers. Now, this is what we requested prior year.
Yes, ma'am.
And because the assessed value went down, our assessments went down, the amount we asked for last year is actually going to be lower than what we're looking at this year to keep us where we are.
So we're gonna get, I just wanna make sure, we're gonna get less money or more money, because I'm showing about $400,000 more. So between the difference. One is 78 and the other one is 400. If I'm 470, then the other one, you say from last year was
Yeah.
078.
Well, yeah, but last year's assessment, actually, 1 mil generated 561.
Yes, ma'am.
And this year, our mills is projected at generating 568. I think that's right.
So the mills are higher.
Yeah, mill went up just a little bit, so my apologies. So it went up about $6 million.
So when the mills go up, the taxes go up, right?
No,
Taxes don't go up with the mills.
and when our assessments goes up, that means we can get more money for the
For the
mills that
same
we've
mills.
already leveraged. So we'll get more for what we've already have in our tax rolls.
Okay, I just want to make sure. I know you said earlier that the taxes were going to go up, but like when we gone from 49 to 50 to 50.3, we were saying that the tax was going up, but now you're saying that because something is going down. I don't want to make a mountain out of a molehill, but I just want to make sure we're going from 53.58 to 53.91.
No, we're still at
53.5.
53.58.
Right on that
Okay,
blue
so
line.
that, the 53.58 will remain constant?
Yes, now, the 53.91, that's including our debt.
Which
And
we
that's
had last
always
year.
been there, it's still 0.33. Yes, sir.
One question, Ms. Burts.
Because where that debt was if I'm not mistaken, the debt was the building of Sherman Avenue and, correct?
It's the,
It's
is
the
that
bond that we took out as a paper.
that $3 million, bond that we took out. I'm sorry, yes.
Just one question, when my constituents read from my Evening Post, the Vicksburg Warren School District is not asking for a tax hike.
Vicksburg Warren School District is not putting in a request that should affect our tax at all,
Based on the information
based on the
provided,
information that I have
so
at
from
this
the
time.
County supervisor.
Yes.
Newspaper needs to hear that.
Yeah, they did a good job reporting
Brandon.
that last time. Hopefully we'll get the same headline.
The state requires us to reevaluate property every 4 years, I believe.
Yes, sir.
So to make it clear, some people's property last year, a $100,000 house last year might now be worth $110,000. So even if we ask for the same amount of money and everything stays the same, someone's taxes may go up based on their appraised value, but it's not because of the request we're making.
That is my understanding.
That was a great answer.
I've been dealing with you long enough,
So,
That's all I have, sir.
so there's no action to take on the budget. Have we covered do we want to now cover the resolution?
Well, so you're gonna do the resolution, then the budget? Because we have
Well,
to.
you didn't put them in that order on the agenda, but okay.
So what we doing? What we
However you
doing?
approve it, I'm fine. Just,
So would you like us to now do the resolution?
Now we have to do something with the budget.
yeah, just either way.
Okay, well, the budget's first, so.
Yes, sir.
Okay, so would you like us to approve, that's what I'm asking you.
Yes, sir.
Okay, so the action, the point I'm trying to make is normally we have the action defined, so,
Yes, sir.
okay, it's not defined. So is there a motion to approve the budget, 2018 budget, as presented?
I'd like to make a motion that we approve the budget for 2018 as being read,
Second,
providing that
second Sturgis.
Gave,
We have a
Coach, I gave
motion.
y'all the doctor.
And a second to approve the 2018 budget as presented. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye. Aye. Those opposed, same sign. We have an approved budget. Next item would be our resolution. Ms. Burke, did you want to discuss that any further, or we think we've?
Yes, based on the calculation, and like I said, my information from the county supervisors and the assessments, we worked together to determine what the district's request should be to keep our taxes neutral. And I am asking the board to approve the resolution as written based on information that I have.
Ms. Burke, one question, I have. So
Yes.
will there be any points in time between now and in the near future that number could possibly change if they were to communicate that to you?
If it changes, they will. However, what we need to understand as a body is the final tax roll does not come in until October 1st. They don't get their information from the state as final until October 1st. And we're already 3 months into our school year. So at that point, that will determine if we get escrow or shortfall during the course of the year.
Okay. Any questions? Do we have a motion to approve the resolution?
So moved, Sturgis.
second.
We have a motion and a proper second to approve the 2018 resolution for our ad valorem request. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye. Aye. Those opposed, same sign. It has been approved. Next item would be our consent agenda. We have several items that have been to pull for discussion on the consent agenda. I'll go through those real quick, board members, and then if you will signify to me if you have any further items that you wish to pull for discussion. Under section F, item 5 and 6, under section G of the consent agenda, items 1, 2, 3, 6.
I will have a comment on 4 as well.
4. Okay,
G4.
got you covered. Under H, we have 1. Under I, we have 1, 5, and 6. Board members, are there any other items that you wish to pull from the consent agenda?
If you would pull H8.
H8.
I don't have an H8.
H8?
Yes.
I don't have an H8.
I don't have an H8. I'm sorry, F8. F8, I apologize.
F8. Okay. So right now, items to pull, one more time. F5, F6, F8, G1, G2, G3, G4, G6. Under section H, H1. Under section I, I1, I5, I6. Are there any other items to pull? If there are no further items to pull for discussion, do we have a motion to accept the remaining items on the consent agenda?
I make a motion to accept the remaining items on the consent agenda.
Second.
We have a motion, a proper second to accept the remaining items on the consent agenda. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye. Aye. Those opposed, same sign. It has been approved. All right, next, first item for general discussion, pulled from the consent agenda was F5.
Ms. Burke? On the, first of all, I will make sure I understand this, is that from where I'm reading this, he's saying that we've already approved it, so now we're just approving that you have done it, correct?
Yes.
Is that what this is saying?
Yes, you've approved you approved the budget transfer last year.
Yes, ma'am.
And that is what impacted the interest.
Okay, and
So we're asking the board to allow us to transfer the interest from one account to another.
okay,
Am I
well,
saying that right? Yes.
okay.
I think the first sentence is just background information, because trying to anticipate you guys wanting to know why the interest went down. A part of that reason of why the interest went down is the transfer from 16 section interest that we made to cover those special projects last year. It impacted what was in the account, so we got less interest this year. So we're asking the board to allow us to transfer whatever interest we got this year into our, a different account.
Okay,
And that was for
Is-
that, all that door hardware stuff from the safety audit.
okay. And it's gonna be transferred into, what, 1120?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Are the funds that drawing interest, is it in a checking?
Yes.
Or it is in a checking?
Yes.
Okay, and I'm sure you know this, the interest is compounded daily?
Yes.
Okay.
Any further questions
No.
on that item? Any other board members?
So is this the amount of, I'm sorry, is this the amount that you want transferred that's here? Those are the amount? Okay, okay. No, sir, I don't have any more. Thank you.
Do we have a motion?
I'd like to make a motion that we accept F5, please.
Second.
We have a motion, proper second, to accept the transfer of the 2016 checking interest earned from 16 section interest to principal funds. All those in favor, principal funds, excuse me. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye. Aye. Those opposed? Next item for discussion is authorization of bid of temporary cafeteria services.
Laura? Oh, there you are.
Yeah.
You're just hiding back there. Okay.
I'll wait till you, okay. Oh, okay. On the temporary cafeteria staff and service, is this something new we're doing, or is it?
Yes, Mr. Sturgis, we got a memo on June the 30th, that we needed to start bidding out if we were using a staffing service, and we do for part of our staff in the cafeterias. It is a bid process that will not take effect until technically, January 2018. So I wanted to jump ahead of the game and go ahead and get through the bidding process and see if we were actually going to have to switch services to a different company.
And what was behind this here, I guess you were asking us to revise our board policy with the purchasing of like the 3501 to 150,000. We don't do that now, or is this something new?
That was something new that we received on the 30th of June.
Okay,
Yeah,
it's
that's
something
a new-
else that you have to do.
That's a new federal regulation that
Yes.
came out that's gonna affect all of our federal programs.
So you're
Okay.
not hiring
That's why
more
you're seeing a
people.
lot more
No,
of
I'm not
those
hiring
bids.
new people.
You're just
You
putting
just
out
come
the
out
bid.
to
I
purchase
put
food
bid
or
out
whatever.
For my staffing services,
Okay.
about half of my staff.
Yeah, so any of our federal programs that have services, that's gonna potentially cost over $150,000. The federal law says now we have to bid those services, where we
Okay.
didn't have to before.
Okay. So is 3/4 of the cafeteria staff hours, or it's the staffing?
We have a little over 40 that belong to the Vicksburg Warren School District.
Okay,
The rest of it is all through staffing solutions.
okay, okay.
Because I've had several ladies that
gonna be like the top of my head after a while. I'd like to make a motion, and nobody else, I'd like to make a motion that we, accept F6, please.
Second.
We have a motion and proper second to accept F6, the authorization to bid for temporary cafeteria staffing services. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye. Aye. Those opposed, same sign. It has been accepted. Next item is F8, request for transportation.
Mr. Bath?
Thank
Request
you,
from transportation, excuse
Mr.
me.
President. I noticed, Mr. Bass I just picked up on this tonight, I'm sorry I didn't get it beforehand, but the bus purchases on the state contract, which appears to be okay, but then the refurbishment of the buses looks like it's in excess of the $50,000, and I don't know if that's coming through a separate state contract, or if not, if we needed to bid that, since with the cumulative effect of those 9 buses is gonna put us over the 50. I want to make sure we don't stub our toe on that if we needed to get, and I'm not sure, there's some exceptions to the bidding.
Right.
But that looks like it's going to be one that might require a bid because of the amount.
All of these, what we're proposing, not to do all of these at one time, these are, what we want to do is retrofit the special needs buses first. Didn't see it on state contract, but bus companies that we talked to, they recommended the Fred's bus service. They're out of Louisiana, and the only 2 that put in a quote were both out of state.
Okay. And this was the lowest of the 2?
Yes,
You do have 2 quotes?
yes.
Yeah, you got 2 quotes, and if you're doing them individually, then it shouldn't be a problem. I just worry that if it's all done collectively, you're going to put yourself above the 50,000, and then you're going to have to bid it out.
No, sir.
But is it okay if we approve it all at once, or we need to approve it individually?
Well,
Yeah, we've kind of worked on the cycle time as to, how we can get those retrofits done, so we won't make the, equipment, he have to get quotes each time he gets ready to do that next, cycle of buses.
okay. Yeah, probably need to tweak the language in this and just say, up to 9 buses to be done individually, and just make sure you get 2 quotes each time you do that.
Okay.
So if y'all would just tweak the language so we don't get in trouble for that.
All right.
So do
Mr.
we have a
Chairman, with
motion?
the,
Do we have a motion to
with the
incorporate that
information
change?
given us by the school board attorney, I move that we approve the request for transportation.
Second.
We have a motion to approve the request for transportation with the changes of up to 9 buses and requiring that each time we go out to do it, we get 2 quotes. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye. Aye. Those opposed, same sign. F8 has been accepted. Next item, G1, job description.
Ms. Deason?
Ms. Deason, is this are we adding a person?
No, sir, we're not.
Okay.
This is in our MSIS codes through personnel. We have a current position that's called case manager that doesn't require any type of certification or any type of degree. And the person that currently occupies that position, or the position really, requires that the person have a special education certification to be able to sign off and check paperwork behind special ed teachers and that sort of thing, so that it can remain a teacher certified pay scale position. And we just, when we did the transition to pay scales and we did case managers, this one was kind of missed in that. So it's just something that needs to really happen before the person who currently is in that position retires, and then we open it up, for future people that we can advertise for the
Okay.
qualities we need in that person.
So it's no new
No,
positions
sir.
and no new money.
No,
We're still paying somebody right now.
same.
I'd like to make a motion that we accept that G1, please.
All right, we have a motion to accept G1. All those, is there a second?
Second.
We have a motion to proper second. All those in favor to accept G1, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Those opposed? Next item,
Me too.
Might as well hang around.
G2, special ed contract services.
How think are we paying this? Have we used this service before?
We've done, each of these individuals are individuals we used last year.
Yes,
It's
ma'am.
just, I have to bring it back every year to you guys.
Yes, ma'am.
They're contract services and they're paid completely from my federal funds. Each of them have a different skill set that we need in our district, that they're retired individuals and they don't want to work for us, you know, for a full-time position. And the positions don't require full-time.
And how effective are they?
Very,
for-
very effective, and hopefully if we get this new thing that we're gonna look at, you know, where we can really track the growth for those kids. I've seen a lot of growth in the one that, works with our students at Head Start, so.
I'd like to make a motion, we accept G2, please.
Is there a second?
I second.
We have a motion and a proper second to accept G2. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Those opposed? It has been accepted. G3, lead teacher supplement.
I got friends that are lead teachers. I still love you all. Y'all gonna get mad at me, but just let me finish my sentence.
I'll give y'all his phone number later.
I know, right? Just call my dad, he'll give it to you, I promise you. But as I was talking earlier, and probably in the last meeting, we had want to give some supplements to some other teachers for doing extra work, piling up paper, getting it ready for this, getting it ready for that. This appears to be the same thing. And I said, when we approved that, this was gonna happen to us. It's rolling downhill. When you sneeze, somebody's gonna wanna get paid. I know y'all mad at me, but you know, you'll love me later on. All I'm saying is that, and I was told, so I had to say that, because they're preparing for the opening of school, preparing for professional development, preparing papers, preparing meetings, prepare. I get it, but I know some of the principals do a lot more and don't get paid for it. Some of the coaches do a lot more and don't get paid for it. And I've got to say that for them, and I'm just, you know, it's something they say that it has to be in there. It can't be in the contract. They have to do it without being in a contract. Okay, I get it, but I've vented my frustration. That's all I have, Mr. President.
You feel better?
I'm much better, thank you.
Okay. Do we have a motion on?
So moved, Sturgis.
You moving to approve?
Yeah, I ain't got no other choice.
Okay. Well, as long as you feel better about it, I'm good. All right, we have a motion. Do we have a second?
Second.
We have a motion and a proper second to accept lead teacher supplement. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Thank you. Moving on to G4, request to hire. Who pulled that one? Mr. Joe. Mr. Joe.
Okay. May sound like I'm micromanaging, but I'm trying not to. I've been in the school system 53 years. Glad the Lord let me live this long. But
Me
I
too, Mr.
object to the hiring of
If we were going to talk about someone personally, we might want to take this into executive session.
okay, whatever.
Okay, so do we want to, do you want to, would you like
want
to,
to approve everybody, and then if you need to discuss him in executive session, you're going to approve everybody else?
can you, is that amenable or to approve everyone with that one position you have a question
Yeah,
about?
you can do that, or you can either hold them all to executive session and then.
It doesn't really matter. Do someone make a motion to table this item and,
I'd like to make a motion that we table it to executive session.
all right? well,
Second.
There's a motion, a proper second to table G4, and all those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Those opposed? All right, it has been tabled. Next item for discussion is H1. Jim, that was you, I believe.
Yes, sir, it is. Ms. Burke?
No, wait, I had changed my status. I had
Yeah.
six.
Oh,
She's
Oh,
got
I'm sorry.
G6.
I apologize.
That's all right.
good job.
Yeah, you
My
did.
question on 6 is, usually these say whether it's new or an existing position, and I see that all of them except bookkeeper says they're moving from one thing to another thing. What's the bookkeeper person moving from to be? Or is that a new position?
Can you answer that, Dr. Little? Okay. Where is that, the bookkeeper position at Warren Central High School? Is anybody here from Warren Central High School?
Principal.
Can you answer that for us, Eric?
Yeah, I don't understand
The question is,
you
the
wanna-
bookkeeper,
See, it just says bookkeeper, and all the rest of them say they're moving from point A to point B, but bookkeeper just says they're
oh, yeah,
bookkeeper.
yeah.
So is that a new job?
No, it's not a new job.
You're filling a job that was
You're
vacant?
filling a job we already have? Okay,
Ms. Trussell retired.
okay, that's fine. It just usually,
Yep.
usually,
So I guess,
I see.
to go along with the same question, so the ones that are going from teacher's assistant to secretary, are we refilling those? Do we know from Beechwood, Warrington, or River City?
and is the teacher to career academy coach, is that a new position, or is?
Yeah, Career Academy coaches are new.
And we
Okay.
approve those?
Because usually it does say new
Okay.
or existing, and this doesn't say any of that. And so if that career academy is a new position,
Oh, it is.
so that means
Y'all
we're
approved two
also.
of those, one for each high school.
So you could put that in the description, approved previous meeting.
And you're paying for a new teacher.
All right, well then, all right, so the position says teacher to career academy coach. So that means we're also still gonna have to hire a teacher.
Correct.
And we have a career academy coach.
Correct.
All right, so all these other ones that are from teacher to secretary, assistant secretary?
Teacher
assistant
assistants.
to secretary, I'm sorry.
We're
Yes.
filling a vacant
They'll be
secretary
vacant
position.
Are we also gonna fill those
That's what I
teacher
asked.
assistant
That's what I
positions?
just
Yes.
asked.
Okay, so all of these,
They're not,
It's like if we
it's
hired,
not you're creating a new position, you have
right.
vacancies.
Yeah.
The question
Somebody
you're
that's
asking-
already
Yeah,
employed
it's
with
just-
us,
it's
moving
done
into
weird.
a
The
vacant.
Never
question,
had it look
the question you're asking though is, did the FTE count go
right,
up because of these? Are we just filling position?
No, this is someone that was already employed with us. that
Except
took
for
a
the
new
career
position,
academy.
was
But
already
the
there.
career
That's
academy
correct.
coach was an increase, but we approved it at pre.
That is correct.
Okay.
okay,
Do you have any other questions on changes in status?
no.
Do we have a motion?
Is that the way it's gonna look all at once? Okay, I make a motion that we accept the change in status.
Is there a second?
Second.
We have a motion, proper second, to accept the G6. All
Yep.
those in favor, please signify by saying aye. Aye, those opposed? Okay. Thank you very much. Next item is H1.
Ms. Burke?
Ms. Burke, you've heard me ask this question a time or two before, maybe one. I think you'd gone to maybe Washington or gone to California or gone to Nevada. Those meetings that you've attended, how does is this a conduit to those meetings, or is this you told us the other meetings were pretty much, I'm gonna say required because you had to get some new info. How, is this a want or a need, I guess is my question.
The previous meetings, the Washington meeting and the Vegas meeting, those were for federal programs. ASBO is one of the meetings that I would like to attend to keep up with what's going on in my profession, in school business. This is one where they cited me last year as an emerging leader, and to keep up with the pretty much the regiment that they're putting us on, emerging leaders. They're asking us to attend these conferences so that they can keep track of us, mentor us, and get us to a point where we continue to emerge into business leaders across the nation. So this is a want, basically, to help me further my career. And there have been a lot of things that I got at last year's conference that I've actually brought back and implemented in the district and saved the district money. I was able to sign the district up for a cohort, 2 cohorts that actually gave us discounts in purchasing. We've had some management trainings that I've implemented in my department, as well as been able to advise other departments on how to do. So I get a lot of benefit out of the conferences that's geared around my my profession.
Yes, ma'am.
So,
Okay.
Ms. Burke, this trip's costing $2,400. Would you estimate from your previous trip that you gained $2,400 worth of savings or value to the district?
I would say twice that much. Because one of the things that I would like to do that I've actually looked into last year is their merit budget award. and you have to go through several rigorous trainings to do what they call award-winning budgets. And with the system that we have and where I'm trying to go with our system, this helps me to put a strategic plan in place on how to get us to better budgeting, better financing.
Ms. Burks, you were kind enough to be truthful with us by saying it's a want, so I'm going to approve it because I like truthfulness. So with that, I'd like to approve H1, please.
Second.
We have a motion and a proper second to approve H1. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Thank you. Ms. Burke, wasn't part of the motion, but if you could to make a note to share with us after this meeting, in our October meeting, and part of your report, if you could just share some of the things you've learned, it would be wonderful for us to hear that. Next item for discussion is I1.
Mr. Chairman,
Yes, sir.
if I can lump 1, 5, and 6 together because basically they're pretty much the same questions.
I have no problem with that, sir.
Okay. On the, I think I've asked a time or two for some feedback on how the professional development contracts, how they help our administrators, our teachers, or our students, to give some kind of feedback. I would like to see some results from that, and I guess from the past or maybe to the future, because, you know, I'm just baffled at what we've done in the past, and we're still getting the same results. And it's, you know, it's like taking a bat and hitting me upside the head every time and telling me that it doesn't hurt. And that's what I have is I would like to see some concrete information on, because we're paying these people really good to come in and do some professional development. I'm against it because I think if the principals are there and they lead the way they are supposed to lead, everybody else will follow. Now, I'm old-fashioned, so maybe that's an old-fashioned way. Like Mr. Visor's been in it for 100 years, and he worked for him. There's a new way, and I get it. I have kids, so I get it. But if we could, Mr. Shealy, that if they would start showing some results, at least to me, maybe the other board members don't want it, I would like to see how it does, because every year we have this professional development, and I see no results. Personally, I don't. Everybody else may, I don't. So if you would do that for me, I would truly appreciate it. So with that, I did have one question I lumped them all together because there was one on here that had, what is a contract period?
Tell me which one, where you at?
Which one it was?
Yes, sir.
Oh, okay, now you're gonna make me go through it. Okay.
sorry.
That's okay.
I hope it's not one, because I can't
Okay.
find it. I've
Let me
got
see.
five. I've got
One, yeah, one has, that one has day. Memorandum for, what did I say, 5 and 6?
I got 5 and 6.
Okay, 5 and 6. One of them has a contract. Oh, okay, here it is, 5. 5 days professional. Most of them been saying days, and this one says contract period. One other thing I need to ask too. Let's talk about from July 17 to May 18. Are we paying them every day? Are they gonna be here during those periods and every time they come
Is
for
this
that
still on
whole
5?
year?
Is this still on I-5?
Yes, sir.
Ms. Johnson, could you give us some feedback on
Contract
this
period.
material? Yeah, what that means? The-
Yes, good afternoon, everyone, good evening.
Good afternoon.
Basically, this individual is, what I would call on-call. There will be 5 days, and actually, we're getting much more for the monies being put forward because this person is someone that will also be on call as well. And that's why it's listed that way.
So it's only for 5 days to be used within that period of time?
Yes,
Okay,
absolutely.
so it's not more than 5 days?
Okay. And so but the contract lasts is for a year on all of them, right?
Right,
Yeah.
we may not need it again. We may do 3 days of service at the beginning of the year, and then as test scores and other things occur throughout
Gotcha.
the year.
Gotcha. Okay, thank you. Okay, that's all I have. Mr. President.
Is there a motion,
I'd like to make a motion that we accept 1, 5, and 6, please.
we have a
I'll
motion?
second that.
And we have a motion with the proper second to accept I-1, I-5, and I-6. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Thank you. Let's see, next item on our agenda is our Section J, which is our discussion items. It says proposed consent, but J, discussion items are not part of the consent.
Correct.
Like to make a motion, we approve item 1. Been deleted.
Sure you don't want to discuss it?
I don't want to discuss it. I'm tired of talking about it. First item for discussion under J is J2, Board Policy JBAAC. Now, is this one just for review, for action?
Doc, this is time for
This is
action.
the one that we had, was seen before.
So it's sat for 30 days as required.
That's right, okay. Board members, are there any questions on this section on National Board Certification? Change to our board policy, section JG, BBAAC.
What those initials stand for?
Pardon?
What do the initials, I'm just kidding.
Lord
I'm
have
I'm
mercy.
just kidding, I'm just kidding. It's board certification. I guess we have to, this is from the state, isn't it?
Correct.
Yeah,
Correct.
Yeah. I'd like to make a motion, we accept J2, please.
Second.
We have a motion, a proper second to accept board policy
That's from the state.
change for GBBAC, National Board Certification. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Those opposed, same sign. The ayes have it. All right. Next item is the Leader in Me update.
Yeah, I've asked Christy to come talk. I know y'all approved the train to roll, but there's a lot going on with the Leader in Me, and I asked Christy if she'd come in and kind of give us a brief synopsis of what we've done since the last time y'all approved and where we are with the Leader in Me.
Thank you, Mr. Pratt, Mr. Shaley, and board. So glad to be here today. I just wanted to give you a quick update. I'll try to keep it to 2 or 3 minutes of the things that have happened with Leader in Me since we've moved forward. Remember, as we do this, there are actually kind of 4 subgroups of schools that are participating. So we have our legacy schools, so the first 5 schools that were funded completely by the local business community through the Chamber of Commerce. And then we have 2 groups of 4 schools that, so those 8 schools were funded mostly by the state legislature through an MDE grant. And so those are the 4: Academy of Innovation, Sherman Avenue, South Park, and Warrenton, started last year. And then Vicksburg Junior High, Vicksburg Intermediate, Warren Central Junior High, and Warren Central Intermediate began this over this summer. We're trained, so they'll start implementation this year. You guys also approved, which we're really excited about, our high school implementation. So Vicksburg High School, Warren Central High School, River City Early College High School have all participated in a one-day training called Leading for Results, which included 10 to 12 of their leadership people, as well as 10 to 12 of their students, which is, I'm telling you, these sessions were so awesome to hear these students talk about where they want to go. And so that's incredible as we move forward with that. Connie West and I went to Utah for a week for a 5-day intense training on how to facilitate the 7 habits trainings in our schools, and that was great. We've been able to implement in our year 2 schools, our year 1 schools, all of their 7 habits trainings. So we've completed those. And also in our year 2 schools, we are scheduling their year 2 trainings, which include aligning academics and Lighthouse team training 2. We had a Franklin Covey coach come in, and they did a 2-day 7 habits training, a regional 7 habits, which was incredible. The Corps of Engineers allowed us to use their meeting room, which was a really wonderful place to have this training. We had teachers and staff members from every school except, I think, one of the high schools, and that was Warren Central, and they're still waiting to have their 7 habits training. So that was an incredible opportunity to do that. I want to talk a little bit about the MDE grant for this year, year 2. What we were originally told was that we would receive $100,000 for 4 years, every year for 4 years. And last year, due to some legislative budget cuts, we received about $90,000. And this year, We already got our request to submit our grant for this year, which we've done timely, and got back, and when we submitted it, we submitted for 80,000 because I do anticipate additional cuts this year. And we have gotten the approval for that already, so that's great. We should receive the first half of that this month in July, the second half after January.
So is 80,000 the most we could receive, and or
Yes.
could we go back? Okay, so how do you come up with that number when you originally thought it was 100?
Well, they told us, expect 20% cut.
Okay, all right. All right,
So
I
we
understand.
We just did that.
100,000.
I know, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, and so how that works, just so you know, in the agreement that was made, was that the state would do that first 100,000 or whatever they could, based on the legislative budget. The second 25,000 would be covered by the school district for that contract. And then anything over and above those monies, the Chamber of Commerce is still at the table and still paying the difference for those 8 schools. So we anticipate, I've kept them in the loop, and we do anticipate them supporting us financially again this year.
So
for
they're
those
going to
8
make up the
schools.
differences
Yes.
if we have it.
We hope so.
Yes.
If we need, okay. So real quick, question about the junior highs. So how is this being implemented in the junior highs? And it's a little bit different than the elementary schools, correct?
Yeah, it is. They're just different age groups, obviously. The 7 habits trainings are the same. So anybody that would go to a 7 habits training, because it's teaching those principles behind the 7 habits of how to set goals and how to be responsible for yourself, how to work well with others. So that's all the same in the 7 habits training. But I think the voice of the student will be a lot stronger in our middle schools and particularly in our high schools. They'll be in there on the planning of it. And for example, we had 2 students from River City Early College that actually went to the regional 7 habits training. So that was a pretty good opportunity for them to come and just hear the 7 habits from a Franklin Covey trainer. Does that answer your question?
Well, so will they have like a leadership day? Or what are they doing operationally? How does it look in the schools?
Of
It's
course,
not-
they can create what they want around it, so there isn't like a prescribed way.
It's not as rigid as the elementary version?
No,
Materials look a little different too. It's a little more.
right. And I think, like I said, when the student voice is there, they're gonna dictate what speaks to them. And I would say this as well. I would say what I've seen in the elementary schools is the language is a little different, where they talk about being proactive or put first things first. Whereas you move up, or even in elementary, after they've been there for a few years and they move up to the higher grades into the middle school, they start shifting that language to where it's actually about the principles behind the 7 habits, so they're not walking around saying, we need to synergize, you know, I mean, so they don't have that same kind of look to it, but like I said, the principles are all the same throughout.
Excellent.
So we're so pleased, so excited, and I have to tell you that the sessions that we had with the students, this is my personal opinion, but we could really tell those students that were coming from schools that had had a year or 2 of Leader and Me in their schools, because they were freshmen coming in, and they sat at the table with all grade levels, high school grade levels, and their voice was just as strong as those seniors that had been there and around the block that you would think would automatically be the leaders. And it's just going to be incredible. I think that in the next year or 2, we're just going to see this bubble of students as we reach more and more students coming up into our high school, and it's going to feel completely different.
Excellent.
Yep. Thank you.
Question? All right. Thank you, Christy. Next item on our agenda is the Ford Next Generation Learning update.
Absolutely, and y'all know that we have a national designation that will be happening August the 2nd, which will be the day of our, 3rd, which is the day of our convocation. And there's a lot of planning and a lot of events and a lot of stuff that's going to be revolving around that. So we've asked Kelly Barfield, who is the co-chair of the steering committee for the Ford NGL, who has done if we could pay her for the work she's done, she'd definitely take a healthy, wealthy pile of cash away. But if you could, just update the board on where we are.
Thank you. Good evening, and my apologies for coming in late. I was out of town and decided a moving traffic violation would not be in my best interest right now, so my apologies. But No, the board recalls from previous approval of the memorandum of understanding with the Ford Foundation that Next Generation of Learning was a really, really special partnership for the Vicksburg Warren County School District. Vicksburg, our area was one of only 3 selected out of the entire country for implementation of this foundation. And just as a reminder, and for those who may be less familiar in the audience, it takes our high schools, both Vicksburg High School and Warren Central, and transforms them into college and career academies, such that the vision of the initiative is we graduate all students college and career ready and life prepared. Right. It's very much in lockstep with the board's vision, the philosophy that all education leads to employment. The thing that I like the most about this is it is not just about the students. It is not just about educating the students. It's 3 strands. You've got that student component. You transform the learning experience, but you also have a focus on the teaching environment. As an educator, which I am not, if I were, I would be really excited about the opportunities to apply project-based learning, for example, in my classroom, make biology relevant. Why do I care about biology if I'm going into journalism? You know, that kind of thing. It starts to take the academics of the classroom and make them real life for the students, which would be a delight, I think, from an educator's perspective. A lot of change management will be required, I believe, from the standpoint of the faculty, because it is a transformation. But the third strand, and that's why I was so excited to get involved, has to do with the business community. Because again, education and economic viability of a community are in lockstep.
That's right.
If you don't have a solid workforce coming out of your high schools, coming out of your community, businesses are not going to come here, they're not going to grow. And if you have a reputation, I'll say a perception of a school preparedness that is less than stellar, they might go to work at Grand Gulf Nuclear Station, they might go to work at Erdick, but that doesn't mean they live in Warren County, and they buy homes in Warren County, and they spend their weekend dollars in Warren County. So, you know, education and economic viability are very much hand in hand, and that, again, is what's so exciting about this initiative. So what we have here is the culmination. I mean, the designation is just the kickoff. This is just the beginning. A plan is just a piece of paper on a shelf until it's put into action. But it still represents a phenomenal partnership between so many here in the business community for the past more than year. But we kicked off with some very, very broad scale community meetings from the very beginning. What is your vision of a graduate of Vicksburg, Warren County? Some 80 community leaders came together with Post-it notes and flip charts and so forth and said, what is the portrait of an ideal graduate coming out of Vicksburg, Warren County School District? And it springboarded from that into the development of 8 tactics. So for each of the 8 tactics, you've got co-chairs, one representing the education community, one representing the business community. So you've got a steering committee of some 24 education and community leaders right there who are strong believers. And now with this designation event, August 2nd and 3rd, we'll be in line with some maybe 12 to 15 school districts in the country that bring industry councils, they bring certification into the schools, they bring internships that allows for externships of our educators out into the business community. It's just a phenomenal partnership that this launches. So happy to answer any questions, but that's at a high level what excitement we got to look forward to.
Amen to what you're saying. We have the largest technical school in Mississippi in Vicksburg, and the most awarded also. Mm-hmm. So we're with you on that.
Yeah.
I think what you said is really important about the schools and the housing, and I'm going to go high-tech for Chad and for Brian here. In Warren County, our poverty rate, which, at our school is like 78%, as opposed to Clinton, which is 15.5%. So that's going to be a challenge that for Next Generation, I'm sure you all have done it before, for us, because overall in Warren County we're 22.6%, which is where we're above the state average.
And you know what's interesting about this initiative too, in some communities, Nashville is the most mature of all the communities that have adopted the framework. And so it's got the longest running track record of about 12 years or so. What's interesting is the domino effect of preparing students, because there's a key word in here. It's not just college academy, college and career academy. It's all about making CTE, technical training, relevant again, making it a viable career option for our young people. Everybody's doesn't need to go to college. And so it reinforces that. But the other thing that it does, in addition to reducing dropout rate, increasing graduation rate, it makes some of the parents interested in what they see going on. They see this certification that their students getting for a radiological tech job, for example, or for a hospitality job, and they start coming saying, how can I get my high school diploma? I never graduated from high school. Can I get mine, and can I get this certification? And so there really is a springboarding of this into some of the other initiatives that Chad and his team have been working on that goes beyond just the students, while we're lucky to have them coming up through and in high school, but even beyond to their families, which gets to exactly what you're talking about, the poverty rate overall.
Yep.
Any other questions?
We're very excited.
Good,
Thank
good.
you.
And you'll be getting an invitation to all of the events. You'll see on this agenda, there are some targeted for school board and so forth, but you'll get invitations to any and all of them.
Please share with the other leaders that we are very excited, and we do appreciate the hard work. It's extremely exciting to see that, you know, years ago when I first got involved, everyone would come to you and say, to transform Vicksburg, we need the schools fixed.
Uh-huh.
Well, the community has to transform, and it's great to see that everyone is partnering. The last 2 years, it has been, it's one good story after another, and this is just the one step for many steps that we still need to take, but we're just so excited.
And there are going to be a lot of eyes on Vicksburg Warren School District.
Yes,
I can tell you, there already are a lot of curious eyes, jealous eyes, you know, but.
That's okay.
You know, we'll be in a fishbowl and darn glad for it. So.
Absolutely. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Kelly. Great job. Well, and we all, and Brian made a great point, because I'll tell you, school district is a microcosm of the community in which it exists. And to invite 92 business partners and community members into the work of the district has been transformational from my end, because I can tell you, again, you know, I know I'm recently here, but Vicksburg is a remarkable place. And the thing I heard over and over and over when I got here is, I want to be a part of this. How do I get involved? What can I do as a community member? And I'm telling you what, they have stepped up. The amount of hours that have gone in this master plan from people that are not educators, that's what makes this so unique for us. So we're incredibly excited about it, and look forward to the Ford National group coming down and seeing how wonderful we are, and doing some tours and designating us for the hard work that we've done as a community. Thank you.
All right, thank you. Next item is on here because we have a board policy.
Correct.
That I assume is one of the ones we accepted here recently, referring to open meeting laws, and also that we specified that we will have a work session as a regularly scheduled agenda item to discuss a work session. We had a work session last month related to budget, but I think, Coach, you had mentioned that it would be a good idea for us to schedule a work session to review our goals, and for us to get together and talk about other things, priorities for the district. Yep. So, would the board like to entertain the idea of having a work session possibly in August?
Good for me.
Is that good for y'all?
Well, we can agree to get everybody.
Would the board, you know, we're looking for something in the evening that's convenient for those who work, but you know, it wouldn't be 2 or 3, 2 hours at most, an hour at most, related to reviewing our goals that we had established last year. Any other items, Coach, that you wanted to? I think you'd come to me with several items.
Just an update, look through our whole year and where we are and where we're trying to get to.
Okay. This one was also to discuss the current status of our test results. And the way this policy is written, it's not really convenient to discuss test results in August, although I expressed my concern to a State Board of Education member that I do not understand how you can take an electronic test in the spring and it take till October to get the answers. I don't know about y'all, but if I fail my driving test, I know right away. It doesn't take that long, and it shouldn't take that long. And if we're gonna change the educational environment in the state, we're wasting money on those tests, because those teachers and students are no longer in the same place they are. It's too late to do remediation, so I'll get off my soapbox in a minute. But, I'm short. Thank you. I am on soapbox. But the question is, it might be more appropriate to discuss test results at a later date, not at this meeting we're gonna have in August.
Sure.
Unless you want to take a section to talk about what you have gleaned from the individual test results you've seen. So maybe we say, we'll talk about our goals and the preliminary information that you can show us and discuss the progress we're making or not making in areas, and what we're doing to address those. Because we do have several schools that we are addressing some issues at, and we'd like to still focus on those. The one thing that wasn't on here, do we not have to have a discussion on the improvement plan?
That was the item that was removed. Those are no longer required at this point.
Okay.
The last one was at last month.
Excellent, thank you. All right. So, we'll work on a date. Can you handle trying to figure, what dates are?
You okay with Shannon getting in
Shannon,
contact with y'all?
yes,
Or
I
you want
think-
to choose one
I
today?
can't do,
Miss-
I can't do anything that, the week of August 10th, 11th, or 12th, any in that time frame.
Mr. President, before we talk about the retreat, we must vote on it first, and then we can see if we're gonna have it according to our school board retreat and work session. It says that the sessions must be approved by a majority vote of the board.
Yep.
So we can't assume that we're gonna have this meeting if it's not approved by the
I agree with
majority
you
of it.
100%. So is there a motion on the floor to schedule a board retreat / work session in the month of August?
I'd like to make a motion that we set a meeting date for the board retreat with the majority of the board being able to be there on a date that we can work out in the month of August.
Second.
We have a motion and a
Can I,
second.
With the topics, the motion should include with the topics that
Yep.
you discussed, the improvement plan, probably not improvement plan.
And
but
preliminary
the
test results.
Status and test results.
Yep.
Is there anything else that needs to be included?
The only thing I will say with that preliminary, if it's open meeting, there are embargo components of that.
There what?
So there are embargo components of the results, and if it's an open meeting, that's the reason we can't share particular individuals, but we could talk about
You
it.
can talk generally about that.
Because I will say that, we will have our school-wide improvement plans that should be in place by that point, and we can discuss those based on
Okay.
direction
Okay.
at an open meeting.
So with those two agenda items we discussed, is your motion, Coach?
Yes.
Is there a second? Do you second it? Ooh, watch out, I'll hit you with something next. We have a motion and proper second to schedule a board work session in the month of August with the mentioned agenda items. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye. Aye. Those opposed,
Nay, Sturgis.
say ayes have it. All right, next item for discussion is Mississippi Action for Progress Agreement.
Yeah, that's our, we received this yesterday, I believe. This is the Head Start Program memorandum, and Briggs has not gone through this yet, correct, Briggs?
Yeah, I've looked at it a little bit today and tonight. The couple of typos that I see, the gist of it's okay. We've had agreement in the past. I do have two just fundamental questions about where we're going. One is does this affect anything? And I don't know to whom I should direct this, if it's Ms. Deason or someone else, but are we affected by the fact we've got pre-Ks now? And I'm wondering how that plays into this.
I hadn't seen a decrease in enrollment in our Head Starts. And I will say that this is probably the best year they've had in MCAS results ever. So I think it's a partnership. We still invite them in on all the trainings that we have that are required. We still want to make sure that what they're doing is aligned to what we're doing. But we really hadn't seen a decrease in the Head Start programs, even though we've seen, of course, a drastic increase in our pre-K. I don't know if that answered your question, but,
Partly it does. I guess what I'm getting at is there's some things that we're required to do. If you look at it, and this is the part probably I should address with, Ms. Deason's, she's still here? There's some things that we're required to do, which are all legitimate if we want to do them, but a couple of them seem like they could overlap with some of the things we're doing in pre-K.
yeah, because IEP does apply.
So I feel like I need someone, Ms. Deason or somebody, to look at those very carefully and see if we want to exclude any of those requirements.
Okay.
Technical aspects appear, other than typos, appear to be okay, but,
So this is not for action?
well, we just got it yesterday.
All right.
Why don't we get those questions answered?
When do they need this?
Yeah, that
Probably
would be the
will.
next question.
August 1st.
I wonder why we got it so late.
Is anybody here from the Head Start?
This is a standard agreement we've had each year?
Yeah, we sign one annually.
Okay.
Now, I can't guarantee that this is the one we've signed annually. I mean, and I could compare it to our last year's, and I could provide that to you, Briggs, so that you know if there's been a change,
I'd like to show them the change.
because we got it.
We can look at that.
My only pet peeve, and I
Your
probably
only pet peeve?
yeah, my only pet peeve is, I need to show them how to use the same font throughout the document. That was really disturbing.
So,
Well, if you want to, if y'all are satisfied with it, it's similar to previous agreements. If you're satisfied with the overall prospects, you could do it subject to the technical changes that I have on typos
And
and
to
some
have
language.
Amy review it.
And having your director verify the issues concerning the requirements as it relates to our pre-K programs in the school district. Now,
Do we have a,
I would like to table it, but the problem is if they need it by August 1, unless y'all don't have another meeting before then, you're not going to be able to look at it.
are they not funded? Do we know? And I don't either.
I move that we authorize the board attorney and the superintendent to review the agreement, whether they can move forward with Mississippi Action for Progress, because
is there a
we're getting
second?
close to opening the schools.
That's to approve it subject to our approval?
Yeah, to your approval.
Not just review it, okay.
Yeah. Is there a second?
Second.
We have a motion and proper second to approve the agreement for Mississippi Access Progress pursuant review and approval by the superintendent and board attorney. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye. Aye. Those opposed, same sign. Ayes have it. Next item is our item that we've tabled. We need to, if we're going to go into executive session, we need to.
Mr. Chairman, I move that we go into closed session to set the agenda for executive session.
Second.
There's a motion and a second to go into closed session to determine the agenda for executive session. All those in favor, signify by saying aye. Aye. Those opposed? Ladies and gentlemen, we are now in closed session. Thank you.